You guys are live. Yo, good people. It's your homie HerbMan. Busting you back upside the head with another hot banger. Boogie, please go tell somebody your homie HerbMan is on. And if you're new to the program, welcome. Please follow, like, share, and subscribe on all the platforms at Love HerbMan. All right. So I am your neighborhood holistic practitioner. I'm your homie HerbMan. We're coming live from South Africa, live on YouTube, live on TikTok. Please go somewhere, sit down, because you're going to learn today about how to heal yourself. That's what we do here on the HerbMan Show. But you cannot heal yourself unless you know thyself. So we make sure to teach you about the human frame and the human design so that you can be well on your way to happiness, wholeness, and wellness. How many of us are seeking those three things in life? All right. So you came to the right place at the right time. Just be still. Allow this frequency to just envelop you. Allow this frequency as you get up this Sunday morning, wherever you are, or this Sunday afternoon, depending on your region. We want to allow this particular moment to be a timeless moment where you ain't wanting for nothing, you ain't desiring for nothing, and you ain't needing nothing. And then allow the transformation. Remember that the suffering is an opportunity to transform. So if you are suffering in your finances, if you are suffering in your body, if you are suffering in your social status, and you just want help, understand that the suffering is an opportunity for transformation. So today we want to take heed of this opportunity. So if there's anybody that you guys know out there that is suffering mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and is just needing some clarity, we want them to be still, be quiet, and we want them to be able to listen to the inner voice guide you around the way. Okay, so this is a free information station. You guys, what you're going to hear today, you don't have to pay for. All you simply got to do is pay attention. And how we do that on the HerbMan Show is by double tapping that screen and getting us up to 100,000 likes during the live broadcast. Once we get to 1,000 likes, we'll get into the subject matter at hand. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all do y'all job while I erase the board and try to get us ready for what we got going on today. Hopefully everybody's doing good and doing all right today. As y'all can see, I'm peppy and I'm ready. You know what I mean? I'm peppy and I'm ready. All right? So we got to bust you upside the head. Every day that I come in here, I make sure that I come to work. So you got to love what you do, okay? You got to find something that you love to do, or you got to love what you do, okay? Love what you do or find something that you love to do, all right? One or the other. And when you'll start to see that, the things flow, the frequency flow. You don't have to think too hard, think too deep. It ain't too a struggle for you. It fits right into the paradigm in which you understand. Now here, let me go ahead and teach all of you guys that are new, okay? We have a nature-based intervention that is a program that we believe is a panacea program. I don't believe that there's a panacea product, so don't believe the hype. But there is a panacea program. What kind of program is a panacea program? Is a program that is going to be able to adhere to all levels of your physical awareness, meaning that it's going to be able to adhere to your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional whereabouts. This is holistic healing at its best, but it is using nature-based intervention. So we use cosmology. You may call it astrology, astronomy, numerology, whatever, but I like to sum it all up in I use cosmology. So we don't need your blood type. We don't need your blood sample. We don't need your stool sample, urine sample, hair sample. We don't need that little live culture from that little nasty bump down there. We don't need none of that. It's non-invasive, non-intrusive. We ain't gonna poke you, prick you, or prod you. All we simply do is ask for a birthday. We don't need the time you were born, the location, just the day. And what happens is nature is going to spit out your balancing act. Okay, nature is going to spit out your balancing act, and you're going to see here today how you can give me a disease, and I can tell you which thing this is. And just for peak's sake, let me introduce you guys to this. Okay, so this is what we call the sun's ecliptic. Okay, and this is also directional. So this becomes a compass and a calculator. This becomes a compass and a calculator. So basically, it's a navigation tool and a calculation tool. So I can find you, and then we can get some coordinates and some calculations on what you need to do next, what you need to do to handle your situation that you're currently in. A navigation tool and a calculation tool spits out solutions for the individual who owns their owner's manual. Okay, and we do all this with a birthday. But now look at what we found out. So this is the ecliptic of the sun. This is the life path. This is the yellow brick road. This is the road that everybody is on. Now you may die on this road, or you can live forever. Look at the symbol, that's infinity. But what we haven't learned is how to live in this particular paradigm in an infinite way. Now we know that the soul don't die. We know that all that type of stuff. But what you're trying to accomplish is body preservation, so that you can carry your five senses on into the heavenly conscious. Why? Because you want to be able to see the lights, and you want to be able to feel the feeling, you want to be able to get the bliss all through your senses. So you want to be able to make it in, not dead, but alive. Now here we go. Now understanding that this is the yellow brick road, the life path, we also know that these are 12 life lessons. These are the 12 cell salts. These are the 12 months. These are the 12 zodiacs. These are the 12 numbers on the numbering system, right? 12 digits. We understand all of this. But if you look a little closer, we can also now start to differentiate within the body certain things. So this is fire, air, earth, and water. We can tell if you got a fire condition. We know if you need a little bit more sun. We know if you need a little bit more natural drinking water, spring water. We know if you need a little bit more food, fruits and vegetables. We'll know if you need a little bit more air, unconditional air, outside air. We'll know all of this within this, because this is a nature-based intervention. But look here a little deeper. This also is going to let us know about our acid to alkalinity. This is also going to let us know about if we got too much heat in the body, masculine energy, if we're fact-based instead of faith-based, if we're logical instead of intuitive, if we're intellectual instead of creative or imaginative. All of these things we can know, but look a little deeper. It'll also tell me the sympathetic nervous system, if it's the culprit, or if it's the parasympathetic nervous system, if it's the culprit, because we know that the right side of the brain is the masculine, is the feminine energy, but we know that the right side of the brain operates the left side of the body. So now when you're looking at this, if it's the right side of the brain, right, and that's going to be sympathetic, but that sympathetic operates the left side of the body, okay? If you look at this, the left side of the brain is your masculine energy, but the left side of the brain operates the right side of your body. So when we look at this, this is parasympathetic. So parasympathetic is going to operate the right side of the body. So the parasympathetic, you'll find that you'll have a nerve and muscle issues that are kind of more lethargic, underactive, right? But then you'll find your sympathetic, your stimulus. Every time you're overstimulated, you can find pain on the left side of the body, the left eye, the left ear, the left arm, the left shoulder, the left knee, the left foot, okay? All that is just meaning to us that we know which way to go. Remember that duality is the two things that you're working with, but polarity is the recipe on how to use them. So we're showing you all of this in a paradigm because I want you to know one thing. You need to be able to finite understand if it's going to be the inside of your cell or the outside of your cell. Is it going to be the fluids or the temperature in my body? Which one is causing the problem biologically, and then what's causing the problem spiritually? There's not one guru on the planet that cannot tell you that in the ancient times, there always was a spirit mixed with a physical condition. They always mixed spirit in with the diagnosis. You never got diagnosis in the ancestors without addressing the spiritual contents of that disease or of that symptom. So ain't no need to start now. Modern medicine got away from the spirit. So that's why I call this spiriance, okay? Because we are now starting to tie in spiritual with science, because science got a little spirit and spirit got a little science. And in order for you to be able to understand everything that's going on in this particular paradigm, you need to understand spirit and science. You need to understand fact and faith. You need to understand intellect and intuition. You need to understand God and some natural phenomenon. But what you need to understand is that you're going to have a lot of stuff that you can see, and there's going to be some stuff that's unseen. You're going to have some things that you know around the corner, and there's going to be some things that you never ever knew that was around the corner. And therefore, you must be endowed not just with intellect, my modern man. You must also be endowed with intuition. And what's happening is when there comes a new dawn, a new day, a new era, when there's no telling what's going to happen tomorrow because of the state of the mind of mankind and the state of being of mankind, the only thing that'll help you in a dark space, the only thing that'll help you in the unknown is intuition. Now, some of you guys have gotten into a sickness to where intellect has said that there's nothing that intellect can do anymore. The doctors have reached their limit of intellect. The machines have reached its a measurement of intellect. And so you're sitting there with a diagnosis with no way around it based on intellect. But if I can introduce you to something else that you got inside you, if I can introduce you to something else that's in you, then you'll be able to understand that if we can take the biological and if we can take the physiological and the psychological and puts these two together, psychological can add energy to the body where the body can't even add. Psychological can add the miracle to the problem that the doctors can't even give to you. Psychological can add the healing that comes from above, because the above is the mind, not below. So to change your situation when the physical says no, the spiritual got to say yes. So we deal in polarity, okay? We deal in polarity. So if you gave me a disease right now, I'll tell you which side that on. Acidic corrodes. Acidic deteriorates. Acidic is one of those things that are going to be inflamed. So you're looking at all those words: burning sensation, deterioration, degeneration. You're looking at inflammation, right? If it got a flame in it, that's going to be on the acidic side. Now, what's on the alkaline side, or what's on the growth side? This is the growth factor, right? So you got a tumor, you got a hernia, you got a thyroid that's swelling up, you got fluid in your body swelling up, edema, a lymphedema, any kind of swelling, any kind of that means you got too much wetness in here, right? So we need to dry you down. We're going to heat the wet, and then we're going to wet the heat. And this polarity, that's all we're doing. If you cold, we're going to give you hot. If you're dry, we give you wet. It's polarity. That's all it is. So follow me now. And I'm glad that this has been recorded on YouTube, because as soon as I finish, as long as these folk don't take me off, you'll be able to go there and receive this now. So now we're understanding all of these particular things and dynamics that we can understand. You ain't even got to give me your birthday, and I can give you these answers. Somebody give me a problem right quick. Go ahead. Can you keep tapping? You guys, I'll keep talking. You keep tapping. I will keep on talking. Give me a disease. Hurry up. Let me show you something, because I ain't gonna be on this all day. Okay. I got somewhere to take y'all about this cell. Okay. So somebody said infertility. All right. Somebody said infertility. Okay. We'll stop right there, because infertility is a big thing, not only just in America, but I see it being big over here in the African countries as well, especially in South Africa, where the hormones is getting off balance. All right. Now, when we look over here and try to understand hormones and try to understand how that gets off balance, it's very easy. Infertility, boom. We're going to go down here. Infertility is going to be what we call the sacral chakra, your sacred area, the private parts of the area. Okay, and then we go over here, we see gonads and we see all of that. So that means uterus, that means your testes, your ovaries, et cetera, right? All right, and then also we can put the breast. Anything that's got something to do with fertility can be dealt with when you're dealing with two things. Okay, the pineal gland, growth and development, Okay, remember growth and development, and then when we're dealing with the gonads itself. So I just gave the answer away. This over here is about growth and development. You'll find that a lot of women dealing with infertility issues is because of the feminine energy issue. Okay, it's because of the mucus issue. All right, you're building up a lot of mucus. What's in the polyps of the fibroids? Mucus, toxic mucus. So that polyp is actually saving you. But inside that polyp is toxic mucus. And if it popped, that chemical, that toxin would be in your blood. So you're growing polyps to save your life. But that's what it is. It's wet. It's mucus. Now watch this now. Watch this. The right side of the brain, all right, is sympathetic. That controls the left. So you'll see a lot of infertility people, and y'all don't got to bear witness to it, but watch. A lot of infertility issues is going to be what? It's the left tube. It's the left ovary. It's the left this. It's the left that. Right? So that's what I'm trying to get you to understand, Queen Steph. Hopefully you got that, right? So all we would need to do then, if you understand this, the sympathetic is working the left side, right? So that means that you need to relax the body. That means that you would need to have relaxants to relax the body, but then also that means that you would need what? Heat. So we try to tell a lot of women dealing with fibroids, endometriosis, a lot of people dealing with PCOS and all of that. Watch how you're cooling down your body, because when you introduce wet, you cool down the body. A lot of women with infertility issues drink a lot of cold drinks, drink a lot of alcohol. Alcohol cools down the system, if y'all didn't know that. Alcohol cools down your system. Okay, wine cools down your system. Okay, and then you're doing a lot of fruits and vegetables, a lot of just cold drinks, whatever it is cold. And what's happening, and then you got your bottom top with your navel out. You're sitting up under the AC unit at your job, and it's just hitting your neck. You're walking outside barefooted. Women do a lot of little stuff to get cold in their body, and it's going to start to affect the infertility. All right. Anybody else, real quick? Anybody else before I move on, you guys? I got something to tell y'all today, so we got to move on really quick. Anybody else before I go? All right, Queen Steph, how you like that? Heat, right? Heat. High blood pressure, the same thing, you guys. Look, when the pressure goes up in something, the volume goes up in something, then obviously the heat energy goes up, which makes the temperature go up. So when pressure go up, volume go up, energy go up, heat rises. So if you got high blood pressure, then you're going to be on this side. Okay, so if you're on this side, this is the left side of the brain, right? So we know that the left side of the brain is the masculine, but it's operating the right. So a lot of people dealing with high blood pressure can start having things happen on the right side of the body. And then some people can have things happen on the left, and you'll start seeing swellings happen on the left foot. Why do a swelling happen on the left foot with high blood pressure? See, the mucus is on the left, right? You see here, the heat is on the right. So when we're talking about heat, then we'll say pains. So if you got high blood pressure, you're dealing with pain and inflammation, it would be on the right side. If you're dealing with mucus, that mucus would be on the left side. Okay? Heart problems, clogged arteries. So if you got heart problems and clogged arteries, it don't make no difference, okay? Heart problems and clogged arteries don't make no difference. That's still going to be over in this area, or it could be over in this area too, because on this side we call it stagnation. Okay, so first what we got to get to is what is causing the clog. What is causing the clog, or what kind of heart problems you had before that you ain't addressed yet. 9 times out of 10 is either going to be a clot or it's going to be cholesterol. Okay, and it could be some calcification, but we just need to understand, is it calcification? Because if it's calcification, then I might say, let's go ahead and get you some buchu and some hydrangea root, and let's see, can we knock down and dissolve that calcification? If it's a blood clot, then we might say, okay, well, let's try some cayenne pepper and see, can we thin that blood clotting out without damaging or having any kind of other little stuff. Now I might add some more stuff. I'm gonna just give you the main herbs, okay? Now, if it's not the clotting, and then if it's not the clotting, if it's not the calcification, if it's cholesterol, I still may go with cayenne and some other herbs to see if we can kind of heat the body up, and let's start to take this this fat back into more of a lipid, more of a watery texture so that we can get it to move out of that area, right? So this is all of the stuff that you can know. Now, this ain't nearly as much as you're going to get in your owner's manual, but I'm just showing you based on what we know from the owner's manual, I could just be accurate with just this right here, and I ain't even ask you for no birthday, okay? I don't know if I'm talking for me or you. I don't know who you're talking to. What about cayenne pepper oil? No, I don't do all the processing. Cayenne pepper, eat the pepper, do the powder, but don't go into no oils and all that. How can you cure lipoma on the face? You just got to look at it. What is lipoma? Lipo. What's lipo? Right? A lipid, right? So that's some fat. Understand what you do with fat. Put some heat on it. Memory issues. If you guys got memory issues in the building. Okay, so the biggest thing is you guys don't know which environment is being affected, okay? So what we're going to do is I came on here letting you know they're going to mess with this one because I know what I be bringing and I know what they don't want you to know, and it's the truth, okay? And the truth of the matter is, right here, I'm just going to go ahead and do it before they try to do something. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Back up. The truth of the matter is this right here, okay? All right. These are 10 of the 12 particular ratios that you need in your cell. The things on the outside of the cell are things that are predominantly on the outside of your cell. So I don't know everything that you guys got going on, but you know what you got going on. If you got chloride issues, that's an outside of the cell thing. If you got calcium issues, that's outside of the cell. That's the extracellular. If you got sodium issues, high blood pressure with the sodium, that's outside of the cell. If you got fluoride issues, if you got sulfate issues, that's outside of the cell. Okay. Now, if you got magnesium issues, if you got potassium issues, if you got iron issues, if you got phosphate issues, then you got intracellular issues. If you got connective tissue issues and silica, then you right on the cusp. So that means that you in and out. That means that you are both intra and extracellular deficient in that particular thing. Now I'm gonna go back to y'all diseases, and then we're gonna start looking at what's going on. Okay. Now I want you guys to understand something. If you got bone issues, okay. If you got bone issues, put a 1 in the chat if you're dealing with bone issues. Okay. Now, Ether Empress said, yes, I have low iron. So that means that you need to be dealing with the inside of your cell. Okay, you need to be dealing with the inside of your cell. That means that you have intracellular issues. But now look at this. Look at this Empress, Ether Empress. I'm giving you the medicine. Okay. Not only do you need iron, but you're also going to need magnesium, you need potassium, and you need the phosphates. Okay, and you can add a little silica in there too to make all of that done. We give you this with your owner's manual, so you don't have to worry about what herbs need what, because I give you this. Okay, I give you this. All right. All right. Somebody said brittle bone. She's bed bound. Okay. Now look at the bone builder. Which one is the bone builder? Calcium phosphate. Calcium phosphate is a bone builder. Okay. But look at what calcium at and look at what phosphate at. And then you'll see that that's an intracellular and a extracellular thing. That's an inside the cell and outside the cell problem. So now what we'll have to do is get you all the ingredients that's needed inside the cell and all the ingredients needed outside the cell to help with your bone issue. This is what we do with the owner's manual. That's why some people's blends are not going to be nothing but a few herbs, and some people blends are going to be all 12 or 13 herbs. Why? Because everybody needs something different. Okay, y'all see that? Is high iron a bad thing? Yes, everything should be balanced. Shouldn't be too high, too low. It should be balanced. Okay, all right. Vitamin D deficiency. That's just because you ain't getting no sleep. Using 1807. All right, that's because you ain't getting no sleep. And when you start getting vitamin D issues, that's going to affect your calcium over time. Okay, so now when you're dealing with hormones. All right. When you're dealing with hormones, the biggest thing here, the biggest one here about hormones is calcium, ladies. That's why when you have low estrogen or when you get on your menopause, which is the mineral that you got to watch out for, it's always your calcium. So when you're dealing with hormone issues, you guys, I'm trying to teach you guys today. Please keep tapping and I'll keep talking. If you're interested in your owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you the information that you need. If you are dealing with hormone imbalances, men, women, whoever you are, you need to be checking your calcium levels, okay? Calcium is the doorway to the hormone release. Calcium is the doorway to the hormone release. And also calcium is the doorway to your neurotransmitter release. So now we're looking at dopamine and we're looking at serotonin and we're looking at oxytocin and all of this type of stuff, these neurotransmitters, these endorphins that we were talking about. Calcium is a big thing. So if you having hormonal issues, that's calcium that's outside of the cell. So that means if I'm having hormonal issues, I'm having extra cellular problems outside of the cell, the environment inside and outside the cell. I'm just telling you and showing you that you can have an outside the cell problem, you can have an inside the cell problem, or you can have both, an inside and outside the cell problem. Okay. Constipation. Constipation ain't nothing but a digestive system issue, right? So that's not going to be necessarily, it could be environmental, but at the same time, you got to be looking at why you're being constipated. There's several different things that's concerning constipation, and constipation is not a disease; it's a symptom. Okay, constipation is not a disease; it's a symptom. So we got to be looking at what you're eating. What about magnesium? What about magnesium? You got to tell me. Okay, so now the next one is going to be a muscle builder. Who needs muscle building? Okay, who needs muscle building? I just asked somebody about bone building. We told them about calcium phosphate. The next one is muscle building. Anybody here that's looking for some muscle building? You got muscle debility, muscle weakness. Muscles are also going to be in the same line as your organs. Okay. So if you got organ failure, if you got a weak organ, you might want to be looking at magnesium too. So muscles is the same material as your organs, your tissues, right? So we got these connective tissues, we got these muscles, and we got organs that are kind of made out of some of the same fabric of stuff. And so if you need a muscle builder, then you need magnesium phosphate. Okay, so now let's look at magnesium and then let's look at where the phosphate is at. Magnesium is in the inside of the cell and phosphate is in the inside of the cell. So anybody dealing with muscle issues, debility, weakness, or anything, you got an intracellular problem. Okay, you got an intracellular problem. Y'all see where we going with this now? You see how we can tell where you're inside of the cell or outside. That's what you need to know. Forget about all the hoopla, man, about all of this NRFP1 pathways. I've been hearing all these folk, man. They try to make it sound so difficult to where you can't do it for yourself. Oh, he must be specialized in healing. He must be the one that really knows. Motherfucker, you know this shit. You can do this shit yourself. Let's stop trying to make this difficult. That's why the owner's manual is so important, because it's putting the power, it's putting the advocacy, it's putting everything back into the hand of the owner of the vehicle, and you own your own vehicle. And so all we're doing is selling you your owner's manual. That's it, to you. When you get your owner's manual, you can't help your sister, you can't help your cousin, them. It ain't gonna fix your spouse, it ain't gonna fix your children. It's for you. It's only gonna fix you. Okay? It's only going to fix you. So that's what we're doing. Is cancer parasites? No, cancer is not a parasite. Cancer is cells, okay? Cancer is cells. It's not parasites. Okay, parasites are parasites. Parasites are worms. You got tapeworm, you got loopworm, you got pinworms, you got all kind of stuff. Those are mostly going to be your parasitic type of stuff, okay? Then you got some other types of parasites as well, but it ain't cancer. My A1C keep going up, stop bread, lower rice, don't know what else to do. If your A1C keep going up, willisatic is because you got self-control issues. You got a problem going on with your self-control. Okay? You got self-control issues. Now let's look at what self-control at, and then you can start figuring out what you need to do. So self-control is here. The third chakra is self-control. Okay? That's going to represent what? That's going to represent the digestive system. That's going to represent the blood sugar and all of that. But self-control is a fire element. Okay? Self-control is a fire element. So we already know fire, which side that's going to be on. Okay, that's going to be on your positive side. It's going to be on your heat side, your acidic side, right? So then you got to understand, okay, well, what's the fire? What's the fire? Well, I mean, there's a lot of herbs for fire. All right. So if you got one fire, if you got two fire, then it just all depends. If you got one fire, we could say, okay, silicone. If you got two fires, then that may be potassium phosphate, or it could be magnesium phosphate. 9 times out of 10, dealing with diabetes is going to be that magnesium phosphate. Okay, magnesium phosphate to relax and everything like that. Okay, magnesium is very important for diabetes. All right, let's keep it going, man. Who else? Who else? Now, I'm not going to go through it like that, man. It's 78. We ain't going to go through it like that. I need issues. Hypothyroidism. I don't know. Ask me about thyroids, okay? Women, you got thyroid problems. You got hormonal issues, okay? Remember what we just told you. So watch your calcium, okay? Watch your calcium as well as your iodine. So hypo meaning you ain't got no iodine. So go toward bladder but still watch your calcium, okay? This is what is throwing the women into menopause. It's this damn thyroid shit. It's this calcium thing, okay? This is what's throwing y'all women into menopause, okay? And this is what's throwing y'all women into thyroid issue. If you ain't got no thyroid issue, then you're going to end up having a menopause issue because it's the same shit. It's your calcium. Remember that you're not baby making, and you're not making no milk. And if you ain't drinking milk, that's fine. You don't got to drink milk, but you still got to watch your calcium. You ain't got to drink no milk, but you still got to watch your calcium because you're made to create another body. So that means that you got to have certain amounts of this stuff just in case you wanted to create another body. That's why menopause ain't really supposed to be in the paradigm, because you always supposed to be ready to create somebody else. But what's happening is menopause is coming in, which is an unnatural symptom of hormonal imbalance that's coming into your life. Now everybody's prepared for it. Everybody wants their menopause. Why? That's unnatural. You're not supposed to get menopause, just like you're not supposed to get PMS. It's not supposed to hurt. You don't even supposed to have a period monthly. The only time that you need to be having periods is when you're trying to have a baby. The period significance is for cleansing and for the baby. But you don't need that every day. So you'll see that once you get athletic and once you start moving that body and start really getting into your natural thing, you can have irregular cycles. Mothers, irregular cycles are not a bad thing until the woman wants to get pregnant. Yes, then yeah, you need to fix it. But just because your little girl having irregular cycles, she's going to be all right. She's going to be all right, y'all. She's going to be all right. All right. Who said that? They said a lack of calcium. Moderator, are you working today? Multiple sclerosis is a autoimmune disease, okay? Multiple sclerosis is a autoimmune disease, all right? So I'm going to show you guys really quick here where that comes from. Autoimmune disease, right? Remember that this is grief and depression. So autoimmunity is going to be at the 4th chakra. It's the heart chakra. It's the thymus gland. The thymus gland is in control of some of your reproductive system, and also it's going to be the one that produces your T cells. So it's going to be conducive to your immune system. But grief and depression, being hurt, somebody hurt you or you hurt somebody, you still grieving over what happened, okay? That loss of that situation, that person, those children, whatever the case may be, and that haunts you, that can come down and start to create what we call autoimmunity, okay? Now, because this is the air element, right? So now I can tell you based on the air element a few different things. If you got 2 airs, then there's going to be sulfur and chloride, sodium and chloride. Sodium and chloride, was going to be sodium and phosphate. Okay, if you got 1 air condition, then it's going to be potassium chloride. We just need to know which, and we'll know that when we get your owner's manual. Okay, I'm saying 2 air, 1 air because there's a mathematical thing. Remember, we're doing cosmology, astrology, numerology, so we go by math here. That's why we use your birthday, so that we can be accurate. We like to be accurate. All right, let's keep on going. The next one is going to be brain and nerve. Okay, so multiple sclerosis, you right on point. Brain and nerve, that's potassium phosphate. Where is the potassium? Anybody know where the potassium? Anybody can see where that potassium is at? Is potassium on the inside of the cell or on the outside of the cell? What say you? I'm listening to y'all. If you got brain and nerve issues, so that means autism, that means dementia, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, anything doing with the brain and nerve, ADHD, bipolarism. Y'all see that it's on the inside of the cell. That's correct, okay? So now we got potassium. Now where's the phosphate? Where's the phosphate at? Is it on the inside or on the outside of the cell? So if I got brain and nerve problems, then I have a intracellular problem. I have an internal problem with my cells. And what we're going to do is we're going to give you all that internal cell food. I ain't just going to give you potassium. I ain't just going to give you phosphate. I'm going to give you magnesium. I'm going to give you a little bit of that iron. I'm going to give you a little bit of that silica, because I need to know I got all these things addressed. That's why the owner's manual is very important. Okay. Y'all see this now, right? So now let's go to the next one. I'm just trying to get y'all to see. I got 230 people on here. I want to be able to categorize y'all today if I can. So you pull out your pen. If you're dealing with alkaline or any kind of fluid stabilization, right? So that means that if you're dealing with alkalinity, right? Alkalinity, okay? If you're dealing with alkalinity. So in other words, if you have too much acidity, somebody said something about parasites, okay? If you think you got parasites, if you think you got too much acidity in the body, this is for you, okay? If you believe that you are too acidic, you're dealing with parasites, if you have kidney issues and you have pH balance issues, right? All right. All of those things, this one is for you, is sodium phosphate, okay? Sodium phosphate. Now let's look back at this. Sodium phosphate, y'all write that down. Now, where is the sodium? Inside or outside the cell? Where is the sodium? Inside or outside of the cell? Okay. The most dominant thing that you got outside the cell is sodium. Let me write this up here. The most dominant mineral outside the cell is sodium. The most dominant inside is potassium. Just to let y'all know. But that don't mean that you can just use sodium to fix the problem. You got to have these combinations. You get that with your owner's manual. All right, so where's the sodium? Where's the sodium? Outside. Thank you, C. Williams. Outside the cell. Okay, so now you got to find the phosphate. We know the phosphate is inside the cell. Okay, so if you are dealing with parasites, if you're dealing with acidity, which most of us are dealing with acidosis, 99.9% of us are dealing with acidosis, not parasites. Acidosis. If you so acidic, how could a fucking parasite live in you? Y'all stop all of this stuff, please. Stop trying to sell these folks stuff and sell themselves back to them. Stop trying to sell these folks stuff, man. How can you have a parasite living in a too acidic environment? Nothing can live in the hell that's going to kill you. But if you're dealing with too much acidity, if you believe you have parasites, which again, they can be loopworms, flukeworms, they could be pinworms, tapeworms, they got them. Okay, so if you think it's parasites, if you think it's acidity, and if you're dealing with pH balance issues, which means that you're too acidic and your kidneys can't help. This is for my people on dialysis, okay? This is for my people on dialysis. Then guess what? It's an inside the cell problem. You have an intracellular problem. The inside of your cells is the problem. So now from this list, we know how to concoct you up something, because we know everything inside the cell. We know magnesium and potassium. We got the iron. We got the phosphate and the silica. I got them in your owner's manual. Okay. That's all I'm trying to get you to do. If you guys want to talk about your owner's manual, just call me from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you'll get with me. All right. Blood builder. Some people dealing with sickle cell. Some people dealing with blood cancer. Some people dealing with mutations in the blood. All this. If you're needing a blood builder, if you have a blood disorder, blood concern, this one's going to be for you. And again, this one is iron phosphate. So you look back at this list, iron is inside the cell and phosphate is inside the cell. So any kind of blood issue, Any kind of blood issues, sickle cell, blood mutations of the cell, any kind of red blood cell issues, what else we going? Blood disorders, all that type, blood cancer, all of that. Iron phosphate. If you got anemia, anemia is a blood issue. So if you got anemia, y'all women are dealing with anemia that's inside the cell, intracellular issues. So don't just give somebody something for their iron. Herbalists, give them some magnesium, give them some potassium, give them some silica. I'm showing y'all how to do this, but I'm gonna keep it going. All right. So the next one is mucus. How many of us dealing with mucus? If you're dealing with mucus, raise your hand. So for mucus, you got a body full of mucus. That's potassium chloride. Okay, that's potassium and that's chloride. Let's look at what potassium is at. All right, we see that potassium is on the inside of the cell. And we see that chloride is actually on the outside of the cell because chloride and sodium, they're kind of like sisters. You know what I mean? They're going to ride together. All right, they're going to ride together. Chloride and sodium are going to ride together. And what goes with them is water. So water, sodium, and chloride, they ride together. All right. Everywhere one of them go, you're going to find all three. Okay. So now when you look at this particular understanding, you got chloride being out there with sodium. So we know that chloride is just as important as sodium because they sisters, they have to have the functionality because they deal in polarity. So sodium is bringing in that positive charge, while then the chloride comes in with the negative charge. So now you have these ions. This is what they call these ions. The only one that's not an ion is silica, which is why it's playing both roles. Okay. Everything else on here is what you would call a ion, right? So sodium is the positive ion, chloride is the negative. They're working in polarity. Okay. They're working in polarity. All right. Now let's keep it moving. So now if you're dealing with the mucus, that's potassium chloride. Okay. So then we know that that's going to be a inside and out job, right? So if you're dealing with potassium chloride issues or mucus, that's an intracellular and extracellular problem. That problem is inside your cells and outside. That means you're going to require all of these. And that's why some of you guys have a bigger blend in your owner's manual, because you require more stuff. You got more stuff going on. All right. Next here, you guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. You guys keep tapping. I'll keep talking. Get us up to 50K really quick. Let's get us up to 100,000 likes. All right. I know I'm giving you the juice today. All right. But there's more to this. I ain't finished yet. Okay. Now, if you're dealing with skin and hair, oh my God, alopecia, bald headedness, hair loss, gray hair, black hair, everybody wants about this skin and hair. That's why cosmetics is one of the biggest industries on the planet, is because you're so concerned with your goddamn outer appearance. Okay. So now let's just go ahead and get it to you. For skin and hair, okay, if you're having skin and hair issues, you need a skin and hair builder, and it's going to be potassium sulfate. Let's look at where that's at. Okay. Potassium and the sulfate. So we know that potassium is on the inside of the cell and the sulfate is on the outside of the cell. Okay. The sulfate is on the outside of the cell. So then in actuality, what you have is a inside and outside of the cell environmental problem. You're going to require mostly all of the herbs if you get your owner's manual. Okay. You're going to require mostly all of these particular minerals, because we need to mineralize you. That's pretty much anytime you got the inside and the outside environment being one of the problems, that means it's a mineralization of both things. So we got to mineralize you. That's the number one thing that you should do. What do people with mucus issues need? I just told you that, man. I just told you that people with mucus need potassium chloride, skin and hair, potassium sulfate. Okay, but you can't go get this inorganically. You got to get it in herbs. And that's why the owner's manual is going to benefit you, because we've already got the herbs for these. All right. If you are dealing with again, kidney issues, let's say you're not being able to eliminate water from the body, that's sodium sulfate. Okay, that's an outside of the cell issue. If you're dealing with water regulation, okay, that's sodium chloride. Okay. And sodium chloride is going to be a outside of the cell issue. If you're dealing with connective tissue issue, all right, connective tissue issue, all right. A lot of you guys are dealing with connective tissue issue. Here comes where also a lot of you guys are dealing with pus and lymphatic and skin issues, right? So here comes where silica comes in at. and silica gonna help you, but that is a extracellular issue. All right, extracellular issue. Poor circulation is not a disease; it's a symptom. So you already know if you got poor circulation, what's the problem? Okay, there must be a blockage, or you ain't getting enough iron or oxygen. One or the other. All right, last but not least is the blood and the skin issues. You need calcium sulfate. Okay, calcium sulfate for the blood and the cells. Okay, if we're really trying to get these cells and get these skin and all of that, you're going to need calcium sulfate. And if you look closely, you got calcium being outside, you got sulfate being outside, right? So if you got blood and skin issues, like stuff dealing with your stuff dealing with your cells, your skin, stuff like that. Anytime you're trying to renew cells on the skin, or you're trying to renew anything dealing with some issues where you got maybe, let's say you got vitiligo or something like that, and you're trying to deal with discoloration, stuff like that, then this is where this is going to come in at you guys. But what that's telling you is that that's an outside the cell problem. Okay, outside the cell problem. Now, somebody said something about energy and focus, right? But let me show you guys deeper into what you're watching here, because I know y'all can't see it because they ain't gonna let me show y'all all the way. So give me a second. Let me do this. Boom, boom, bam. Let's see if they'll let me blow this up. All right. So this is what you were looking at. Okay. This is what you were looking at. All right. So you got the sulfates. Sulfates represent transformation, regeneration, the alchemical fire. So that's the importance of sulfates. So if you're looking at detoxification of the liver, all that type of stuff, you need sulfates, okay? But this is for transformation. That's what we're wanting. So that's why the sulfates are going to be important when we're talking about transformation. That's what we're talking about today. Transformation. The sulfates are going to be important for transformation, regeneration, and the alchemical fire. You need the sulfates. Okay. Now for the crystalline clarity and the integrity and the resilience. Okay. That's where you're going to come in, and that's where your fluoride and stuff like that, along with the silica, comes in. Okay. The blueprint of life, right? The sacred record, the continuity. That's coming in from where? Which one y'all think is the blueprint of life? Anybody know? Your phosphates right there, right? Your phosphates are the blueprint of life. So when you're looking at DNA, when you're looking at trying to recuperate your DNA, then that's where the phosphates come in at. They are the blueprint of life, the sacred record. So if you want to go into your record keeping, you must understand that that's through your phosphates. They hold the blueprint. They hold the code to you, right? The vital force is going to be the iron, okay? That's your iron. We already know what that is, right? Courage and blood, memory, willpower. Purification, polarity, cleansing, dissolution. I told you guys who represent polarity, right? This is going to be your chlorides, okay? The hidden support, the quiet strength, the inner foundation. This magnesium, okay? For if you're looking for strength and stability, that spark of action, that's your calcium. Inner energy, grounding, stability of life force, okay? Inner energy, somebody just asking me about energy. Inner energy, grounding, stability, and life force. Look at this. Potassium, okay? Flow of life force, adaptability, communication, okay? Flow of life force, adaptability, communication. Sodium, all right? Let me get on over here to the blue. Same things right here. Detoxification, cartilage, hormone regulation, all right? Look at that. Detoxification, cartilage in my knees, arthritis. Okay. Detoxification of the liver, sulfates, hormone regulation, sulfates, structural, bone, collagen, connective tissue. That's silica. We know what that is. Okay. Energy, ATP, energy. Look at that. Remember, that's the blueprint of life, right? Energy. Let me take it on over here if they let me. They ain't going to let me. But I do it this way to show you. Phosphates, okay, energy. Oxygen transport, hemoglobin. I got clogs and I got oxygen that ain't being transported. Then you already know that's your iron. Okay. Acid to base balance. In order, if you got kidney issues, if you're trying to get your pH balance back in order, we just told you about chloride, right? ATP stabilization, bone and teeth structure, all this type of stuff. We already know what these things are. So again, you can find this stuff inside of you instead of looking on the outside. Okay. You can find this stuff inside of you instead of looking on the outside. So that's why I'm telling you that you can heal yourself, because hell, you've been doing it. Ain't no herb been healing you. But what we do is we come in to provide the missing things in the environment. Dr. Saber used to say all the time, I provide what is missing. And what that means is that you must have an understanding of the cell inside and outside the cell. We already have that information, you guys. So what we've done is I'm just teaching you why this shit's so fire. This owner's manual is the best thing on planet Earth. I won't keep telling you that, but I will keep believing it because I know it to be true. All right. If you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you the information that's needed. Okay. Now, with that being said, now that you start to understand how to categorize your problem, then now you'll see how easy it is to start the healing. It's very simple to start healing. Once you understand whether it's inside or out or whether it's both, then we start connecting the spiritual thing to it, which we can already do here. Then next thing you know, you have this recipe of something that's talking to me esoterically and biologically, something that's talking to me epigenetically, but then biologically, something that's talking to me psychology, but then biology. And we're always using both the cell life and your life to understand what you're going through, because the micro, it represents the macro and vice versa. So the world outside of you is an environment that you live in, and that is going to create the world inside, and vice versa. Because if your world inside ain't right, that's going to dictate how you live outside. So if you got mutations all in here and you ain't grow an arm and can't grow a leg, then that means you're going to be handicapped out here because of the situation inside. And the same way, if you out here getting into all kind of toxic environments outside of you, then guess what? It eventually going to catch up to you by bioaccumulation, and you're going to fall victim to the environment. Okay? You're gonna fall victim to the environment. Anybody got any questions thus far about where they are, what they need? Okay. Anybody got any questions so far about where they are and what they need in life? What's going on? Yes, hair loss, hair thinning. Yep. Hopefully you got that radicals. Hopefully you got that radicals. Okay. But we got them for everything: muscle builder, bone builder, blood builder, skin and hair, connective tissue, alkaline balance, all the stuff that you think you're going through. We just got to put it in a category, and then we'll know how to provide the polarity. Okay. Swelling. Okay. If you got swelling, then I just told you, you over here. Okay. Swelling is the wet. So you got too much mucus formulating in your body. Okay. So when you got that swelling, that automatically tell me is that you're having a problem with your what? Your feminine energy, your intuition, your ability, your spiritual life. Okay. Your spiritual life. And then what's happening is this swelling, because it's the right side, the sympathetic, is happening on your left leg. Okay. The Empress Alimaya, it's on your left leg. Okay. Because it's coming from the right side of the brain, and it's hampering the left side of the body. Your swelling is on your left side of your body. And we know that because of this and because of the owner's man. Okay. Anybody else? You see, the Empress Alimaya said yes. Okay. So I'm just heart racing ain't an issue, but what I will tell you that it could be due to anxiety, right? There are some things that where you get anxiety with heart palpitation. If you're dealing with anxiety that makes your heart palpitate, then go and look up and research an herb called motherwort. Okay. Motherwort. If you are dealing with anxiety with heart palpitations, go to the herb called motherwort. That'll help you out a little bit better. Okay. But really what that is anxiety. Anxiety is an earth thing. Anxiety is going to be over here. Okay. Anxiety is going to be over here, which means that it's the right side of the body. Constantly in flight mode. Yeah, we got to get you to rest, pal. PA Phillips, we got to get you to rest, baby. You got to rest. We got to be able to promote rest in your body. Okay. Motherwort is excellent. Yes, motherwort for anxiety. Only motherwort for anxiety with heart palpitations. No, I wouldn't necessarily say motherwort for anxiety, but I would say anxiety with heart palpitations is motherwort. That's why I don't like telling y'all herbs on here, because it's not for all of y'all. It was for that person. I don't do collective readings. Okay. I don't do collective diagnoses. So when I come on here, I'm answering that person's problem, not yours. Ask your own problem. Okay, ask your own problem. Cannot stay asleep. You won't be able to go to sleep because you're still in sympathetic nervous system mode, MB Okay, MB you're still in that mode. So what I want you to do is I want you to practice on resting and relaxing before you go to sleep. So that means when I say rest, don't try to go to sleep straight off the TV. It ain't gonna work. Don't try to go to sleep straight off the phone. It ain't gonna work. So you must shut all that shit down, rest, relax, and then you'll find yourself sleep. Do some deep breathing techniques, 30 deep breaths in the nose and out the mouth. Y'all just go watch some of my YouTube videos and get all this knowledge, because you do this stuff yourself. I'm trying to save y'all some money. This right here costs you $50. That's it. You don't have to see nobody else after you get this. When you get this, you'll know more than your doctor about you, about yourself. When you get this, you'll know more than your pastor about yourself. You'll know more than your parents about yourself. You'll know more than the therapist about yourself. There is nobody that's going to be able to know more about you than you. All you're doing now is knowing what mama knew about you, but also what you know about yourself. You just didn't know mama knew. You didn't know God really knew you, right? So we giving you this information so that you don't have to keep buying 2 pieces of fish and some fries. We're showing you how to fish. We're teaching you how to fish. So this is more educational based than it will be telling you that I'm the one that you need to come seek. No, you got all the information about you in the palm of your hands. You need to keep it. It's your responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. Ear issues, pain, ear ringing, deep down, ear itching. Okay, when you guys got ear issues and pain and all that kind of stuff, listen, you already see that pain is what? Pain is going to be an indication of something more spiritual. All right. But now, if you got a hearing issue and ringing in the ear, then you always want to watch out for blood circulation. That's the first and foremost thing I'm going to be looking for ear, because that's in the head. So the blood circulation, is we getting enough oxygen? Is we getting enough iron and blood flow going through there? If that's the case, if you're good on that, then let's look at some infections and ear infections and stuff like that. If that ain't the case, then we got to be looking at the blood flow, and we got to look at the oxygen flow. All right, ear issues. But you can go get you some echinacea oil. You can go get you some mullein oil, and you can just put you a couple drops of mullein oil in your ear, or you can put you a couple drops of echinacea oil in your ear, and it'll get rid of the infection. All right. Anybody else? Who else we got? Nobody else. How about I have no motivation to eat or even bathe? Okay, that's fine. Hey, look, that's a timeless moment, right? But now, if that's a chronic feeling, then we got a problem, because you need to eat and you need to bathe your ass. But if you're doing that because you don't want to desire and want and need anything, that's what I'm talking about. To shut down some of those things is okay. Some of you guys are eating too much. If you ate 3 times yesterday, you probably don't need none today. But you can't let nobody tell you that. Oh, they said I got to eat now. I got to take the medication. Well, goddamn it, I see you at your funeral. You talking about? I ain't finna be pacifying y'all. I see you at your funeral. Then you gonna keep on anime? I see you at your funeral. Okay, we ain't gonna keep on busting you upside the head. You've made your decision. You made your decision. But if you're out there and you're trying to create a timeless moment, it's okay to say, you know what? I don't want to eat today. I don't want to drink nothing today. I don't want to go nowhere today. I don't want to turn on nothing today. I don't want to do nothing today. I ain't gonna bathe. I ain't gonna brush my teeth. I ain't gonna eat. I ain't gonna cook. I don't want to have to do nothing. But you might have to start with a minute of that. Then it might turn into 5 minutes. Then it might turn into 15. Then it might turn into a whole weekend. But these are the timeless moments where you ain't under time's constraint. You're not worried about being under time's constraint. Well, I got to do this. I got to wash the clothes. We got to take the kid. We got to go out there. Got to fix the food. Get off and up under time constraint. That's the timeless moment. Okay. Hello. What about lymphedema and swelling in the legs? Okay. The same thing over here. Lymphedema. Over here is swelling in the legs, which means that 9 times out of 10, your lymphedema and swelling in the legs is on the left side of your body, Sandra. Okay? Because it's over here, that means that 9 times out of 10 it's going to be on the left side of your body. Okay? So you're having sympathetic issues on the left side of the body. So you need parasympathetic, relaxing type of herbs and relaxing activities to relax what's going on in your lymphatic system and with the swelling of your legs. So you'll see that you have a sympathetic problem on the left side of your body, Sarah. Okay? And the Sarah, if you want to let us know what side of the body it's on, that's fine. I'm fasting 3 days a week. No, you should fast only 3 days a month. Don't be too fanatic, Aunt Wig, okay? Don't get too fanatic with this thing. Y'all get too fanatic. Y'all start losing weight and just go crazy. 3 days a month is enough. That's your 10. It's 30 days in a month. 10% of 30 is 3. If you can fast 3 days a month, you paid your 10% in tithe. If you can fast for 36 days a year, you've paid your 10% in tithes. Tithing is when you are no longer consumptive. That's why I say lay your tithes up in the storehouse, because you're storing food. That means that we are harvesting. We ain't eating. So we leaving shit alone and storing stuff up. When you fast, that means you're letting earth store. You're letting earth replenish. Letting earth replenish is like the bear going to sleep for 5 or 6 months out of hibernation. Because if you let that bear stay up as long as your ass is, y'all will be fighting for food. Because the bear eat up everything too now. You better be glad God put it in him to have a hibernation, because we'll be fighting over food. A bear is consumptive in nature, but God nature put a natural selection and make them sleep for 6 months so that we can let the goddamn earth replenish. Otherwise, the bear will eat up everything. But you don't know how to learn from nature. So you're too consumptive instead of learning how to control addiction, learning how to control consumptive by understanding nature. Looking at the bear can help you with your addictions. Looking at the bear can help you with understanding nature. Looking at the bear can help you understand why fasting is important. Not because you're trying to lose weight, but because you're trying to help nature replenish itself. And in the replenishment of the land comes the replenishment of the man. Fasting. I fast because you're supposed to not eat. No, you're supposed to let the earth replenish, though. Yes. Hello, what should I do about osteoarthritis in my knees? Netta, I just explained this, Netta, okay? If you've been experiencing menopause and premenstrual syndromes and hormonal imbalances, then you got low calcium. You came to the show too late, okay? So what we got to do is build your calcium back up, Netta. So if you've just left menopause, so that means if you're between 50 and 65 years old or 70 and you're just not leaving menopause, you probably got a calcium problem. Okay? And we're going to have to fix that. So you get your owner's manual. We'll get you all the herbs that you need. All right, Netta? Anybody else? Polycystic kidney disease and on dialysis. We just talked about this as well, right? So when you have all these cysts, the biggest herb that you can use is going to be buchu. But you can't use buchu while you're on dialysis. So now what we got to do is look at the blood pressure and the blood sugar. I got to correct and balance your blood sugar or your blood pressure before I cleanse your kidneys. But if you're just looking at them cysts, look at an herb called buchu. All right, comes from South Africa, Buchu. All right, 3 times a month of intermittent fasting. No, 3 days a month, not 3 times a month, 3 days. So they're consecutively back to back. You fast 3 days straight, not one day here, then one day next week, and one. Hell no, that ain't gonna do it. 3 days straight. Sarcoidosis, I already talked to you about that, Marcus. If I haven't, then you can holler at me, but just go to the website and get the 21-day detox, and it'll start helping you with the sarcoidosis. All right. Man, the 78 said 10%. Yes, sir. You already know. All right. So now you're understanding this inside-outside game. You're understanding now inflammation is going to be, again, acidic, right? So if you got inflammation, you're acidic. That means you got a parasympathetic issue going on the right side of the body. Right? So that means you probably got all your pain mostly coming on the right side. Some of you may be having them on the left side as well. Just all depends on, again, you can have both of these. Oh yeah, TC Martin, no problem. Leanne, where's the inflammation, left or right? On blood thinners because of mitral valve replacement. Yes, be careful of the blood thinners because blood thinners can make your brain, uh, um, blood thinners can make your brain bleed. Okay, I know sometimes they say you got to have them, but just be careful because blood thinners can lead to brain hemorrhaging. Okay. Leanne said she couldn't walk, but that's what you're going to be needing, Leanne. So if you need the owner's manual with stuff that you need. Sandra said, I got both, more so on the right. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay, Sandra. It could be on either side based on other stuff. Because I know you just told me about one thing, but you might got some other stuff going on that can start to have a direct or an indirect effect on the right side of the body. That's why I'm telling y'all, just give me your little birthday. Let's do this owner's manual and get your stuff that you need. Okay, let's do this little birthday. Get your owner's manual. As you can see, most of you guys that got these diagnoses, how the hell do you know you got them? You already been to the doctor and you still got the problem. So ain't no need to keep going down that road. Ain't no need to keep going down that road, man. You know, and you probably done been to a couple of these herbalists. You probably done been to a couple of naturopathic doctors and you still got the issue. So what more do you need to understand? We're going back to nature. We're not selling you products. We're selling you a program. Okay, we're selling you a program just so you'll know that this gonna be for real. This real over here. This ain't about a teaspoon a day gonna take your pain away. This is about putting together all these pieces of you and then understanding what's really ailing you. It's not what we eat that's hurting us, it's what's eating us. Nature is the cure, yes, and prevention is cheaper than the cure. So if nature is the cure and prevention is cheaper than the cure, then getting into a preventative mindset with nature-based interventions is the cure. What is the best source of potassium? The best source of potassium, I go off of herbs instead of foods. Okay, I go off of herbs instead of foods, but that's something that you guys can Google. Okay, that's something that you guys can Google. I eat so much stuff, but when you're talking about herbs with potassium, you know, when you're looking at alfalfa, you look at nettles, you look at dandelion and some of these herbs like that carry a lot of potassium. But when I look at potassium, I always try to be looking for like the yellow and the gold foods, the beta carotenes and stuff like that. That's what I look at when I look at potassium, is the yellows and the golds. All right, but potassium is in all the fruits, all the vegetables, so it don't really matter, right? But you do that research yourself. What's the best food? I'm not gonna promote a food. I ain't getting paid to promote a food. 3 consecutive days fasting, not eating nothing or eating minimal. Fasting, homie. Come on now, y'all. Come on now. Come on now. Fasting. Don't do nothing. Timeless moments. Can you do a timeless moment where you don't gotta do nothing? You know, but medications keep you on time. Oh, it's 12 o'clock yet, good. I gotta take my pill. It's 4 o'clock yet, Rita. I gotta take my pill. It's 8 o'clock yet. See how you're on time. You can't have a timeless moment. So fasting is a part of this timeless moment to where there's nothing you need or desire. Try that, y'all. Nothing. You don't need nothing. I done did it before. I done did it without water. It's called dry fasting. Now, some of y'all can't do it because you got medication that require you to eat. So you can't do this. So you'll see that the meds is keeping you to the system. It's keeping you to the devil. It's keeping you to the Lord self. It's keeping you to the pain. It's keeping you to the hurt. That's why I keep trying to encourage you guys to wean yourself off of something. But I understand it. In order to take the pacify the baby mouth, you must replace it with something. And that's why the owner's manual is what we're teaching you to replace it with. Okay. And if you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM me. We'll get you the information that you need. Is there any herb to get rid of varicose veins? Oh, yeah, there's plenty of herbs. One of them is going to be blue flag. Okay, try blue flag. Go look at blue flag and see if you think blue flag is one of those herbs for you. Another one could be wild indigo. All right, so I know herbs that everybody don't know, so I'm not gonna be coming on here talking about no goddamn bird out root all day. We're not gonna be talking about no goddamn turmeric and cayenne pepper. Hell no. That's why I don't speak herbs, because I know herbs that I know that you guys wouldn't know. When I had my herb shop, the reason why people would come to my herb shop is because I had herbs that nobody else had. Okay, so some of these herbs I know there's no need for me to put them out there, because really I'm trying to be super conscious about the I don't want you guys going running out here trying to over harvest some of these particular herbs because they lose their medicinal potency once you start getting the word out. These herbs are not meant to trend. Not one of these herbs is meant for 8 billion people to want it. So therefore, yes, sea moss is going to get fake because you put it out there. The earth sea moss is not readily available for 8 billion people to rush out and need sea moss all of a sudden. Calm down on these things. Okay? Herbalists should not be an industry at all. It is. I appreciate it. It's paying my bills. I'm not going to lie. But at the end of the day, it shouldn't be an industry for one reason. It pollutes it. It pollutes the heart of the herbalist, and it also pollutes the herbs because people are going to over harvest and going to mass produce. So be very careful. When I do this, I'm telling you that I'm not only an advocate for your health, but I'm also an advocate for the earth. We need to make sure that we're preserving the earth a little bit better and grooming and gardening and doing all the work that we need to be doing for the earth. We need to make sure that we're doing a better job of that as male and female species. All right. Because once what we do for the land will give us back. When we take care of the land will take care of us. So you'll see that the land ain't doing shit for us because we ain't doing nothing, and the land ain't doing nothing for us no more. We ain't doing nothing for it. It ain't doing nothing for us. So some of these herbs ain't gonna work no matter what you do. For the owner's manual, call noon to 12 radicals. Yes, radicals. Yes, call me from that time. Yep. For the owner's manual. Anxiety while driving and riding in a car, calming nervous system. Yeah, Pap, you're gonna need to put that motherwort with your mix, right? So you can go and do you some rhodiola. Go get you some rhodiola, some ashwagandha. All right. If you're looking for your natal chart blends, then you have to email me for that, right? Blue flag or white indigo, yeah. One or the other. You don't need both. Overthinking is not a disease, okay, but it can cause it can go into disease, health nut. If you're finding yourself overthinking, the next problem is going to be your digestive system, okay? So if you're having a problem overthinking, the next problem is going to be your digestive system. You're either going to have anxiety issues and nerve issues, or you're going to have digestive issues. So let's get some sleep, okay? Rest, relax before you try to sleep. Rest and relax. Do the deep breathing techniques that I've been teaching you guys. I can only eat low glycemic fruit right now without getting a headache. That's good because that's what you should be eating anyway. Low glycemic fruit is just the fruit that you need to eat with the skin on it, okay? Eating whole foods is the best way anyway. Y'all keep trying to peel the rind off the watermelon, trying to eat watermelon, and you're a diabetic. Now, you know you got to have some fiber. The key to diabetes is fiber. The key to high blood pressure is fiber. So ain't no need you eating unpeeled fruit. Ain't no need you eating smoothies and juices, and you know you're diabetic. It's crazy. Eat whole food. Okay? Healthy nuts, I definitely need more sleep. Yeah, I already know. When you say overthinking, I already know that means you up too. I take care of everyone else but me sometimes subconsciously. Yes, an overthinker, right? So you got a lot of people that do overthinking. Overthinkers are people who think about everybody else but themselves. That's what an overthinker is. They don't necessarily be thinking about them. Overthinking is what I got to do tomorrow, what I got to do for my boss, what I got to do for the children, what I got to do for him tomorrow, or her tomorrow, what I got to do for them tomorrow. Overthinking is that. And most people who are overthinkers think about everything else except they self. Okay? Yeah, that's an overthinker. And then you got us emotional people who be doing a little bit too much being over emotional. What do you suggest for cleansing the fruits and vegetables? I suggest you growing better. If you're growing better, you wouldn't have to do all this crazy cleaning stuff. I mean, all we used to do is just shit when I was coming up, we just we ain't even put no water on, you just blow that stuff. It ready to go. Or you put the little shirt in there, run around in your shirt, and you eat. So, asking me about it, I'm more or less about you can't get around because whatever they grew the fruit and vegetable in is in the fruit and vegetable. You ain't washing it off. Okay? You're not washing it off. The skin of a fruit and vegetable is just like your skin. So when I spray cologne on you, it ain't just on you, it's in you too, because your skin absorbed it. So a plant skin has absorbed those insecticides, pesticides, and herbicides. So no matter how much you clean the window, it's still dirty in the house. Okay? No matter how much you clean the window, it's still dirty in the house, right? So I don't give a damn how much you soak them fruits and vegetables. It's in the fruit and vegetable. So growing your own is the best way to go. And then you ain't got to worry about how to wash them. You could just wipe them off and eat them. I also have vivid dreams that leave me tired and muscle tiredness. Okay, health nut, get your owner's manual now. Don't be on here acting crazy now. Get your owner's manual. Is eating only organic food not necessary? What else would you want to eat? Sea salt oils instead? I don't understand what you're saying. That's why I'm highly allergic. Okay, make sure you're going outside, Foul J. Okay, some of y'all questions ain't making sense. So let's go back to teaching. All right. So again, in this particular thing, you're going to have bone builders. Okay. You're going to have muscle builders. Okay. Not blood builders. Okay. You got skin and hair builders. Okay. You got brain and nerve builders. Okay. So you already got this going on in your body, which is why I keep trying to teach y'all. You already got this stuff going on in your body. So all this stuff you already got, but some of us lack in some of these areas based on what we've been programmed to do, right? Our habits and everything like that. And then a lot of us are coming into the paradigm with some deficiencies from birth. And if you don't never know what those deficiencies are, as you move forward, they can continue to get more deficient. And then as you age, they become a disease, okay? So now you got a bone builder, muscle builder, blood builder, skin and hair builder, brain and nerve builder. What else do we need? What else do we need? And then outside of that, you're gonna have your outside of that, you're gonna have basically your balances, right? Your acid alkaline balances. So you got builders, you got balancers, you got all this stuff. And the biggest thing what we're trying to do is transform and regenerate, right? So we must understand that now we're understanding the sulfates are the one that does that. So what are the sulfates? So now I got if I'm trying to excuse me, the sulfates are going to be the stuff that's going to be what? Conducive to our extracellular. The sulfates are going to be conducive to extracellular activity. So when I'm trying to transform and trying to regenerate, if sulfate is esoterically meaning transformation and regeneration, and I understand that the sulfates is mostly extracellular, then esoterically I know in order to transform and regenerate, I must control my external environment inside of me and in my world. That's all I wanted to break this down to y'all. Okay. We'll go back and I'll show y'all this, but I wanted to break that down to y'all. I did not want y'all to leave here without understanding that right there. At the end of it all, that sulfate being at the top right here. What you're seeking is transformation, regeneration, and the alchemical fire. That's what we're needing to transform your situation. That's what we're needing to help you out. Now, there are 3 types of sulfates, okay? You got calcium sulfate, you got potassium sulfate, and you got sodium sulfate, okay? I'm going to try to write these up here. But you got calcium sulfate, you got calcium sulfate, potassium sulfate, and then you got sodium sulfate. Okay? Everybody see that, right? The sulfates. Transformation, regeneration, alchemical. So you got sodium sulfate, calcium sulfate, and potassium sulfate. Okay? Now, I showed you guys where these are. So you got sodium is on the outside of the cell. The sulfates are on the outside of the cell. So that's outside. Calcium is on the outside of the cell. Sulfate is on the outside of the cell. So that's outside. All right. Potassium is on the inside of the cell. So you got 2 outs and 1 in and out. Okay. And that's the corrective formula for the things that we do. Well, how do we know you need these? Well, these also stand for something. Okay. These also stand for something. This right here is the water. The sodium sulfate is the water. Okay. I'm sorry, the sodium sulfate is the earth. All right. So we know that represents the earth. The calcium sulfate is the water element. Okay. And the potassium sulfate is another earth. Okay. Is another earth. So in order to rebuild you, we got 2 earths, 2 root chakras. We got the root chakra here. Then we also got the 6th chakra, which is pituitary gland, growth and development. So growth and development is going to be one of them. The other one is going to be the root. Okay. So I got 2 earths, 2 different earths, and then I got 1 water. We know exactly which one that water is too. But just to let you know that water can represent both either 2 or number, we call this number 7. Okay, the pituitary gland. Okay, so you got the water being number 2 and number 7 of the chakras. You got the earth being the 1st chakra and being the 5th chakra. I'm sorry, being the 5th chakra, doubt and trust. Okay, thyroid issues, right? So I can start to now look at some of these spiritual instances and say that if you're in these things, let's say you do your owner's manual. You do your owner's manual and you come back a water, earth, earth. Duh. Okay. You come back a water, earth, earth. Now, on top of that, we also know what these is. All right. So now let me show you this because I don't want y'all to think we don't know what this is. Okay. So for calcium sulfate, which is here, this represents Scorpio. Okay, so we know what this is. Okay, this potassium sulfate here is going to represent Virgo. Okay, so what I'm saying is we know what these is. Okay, that sodium sulfate is going to represent Taurus. All right, this is Taurus. So when you give us your birthday, we know what's going on with you. Better than a blood test, better than a blood sample, better than a hair sample, better than a urine sample, better than your blood type, your body type. It's better than live cultures, better than all that stuff, man, because it's nature-based. We know what's going on in your blood without having to prick you, prod you, and poke you. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Y'all are thinking that these herbalists and thinking that these people who have been able to see in your blood is being able to do something. But you can't find spiritual problems in the blood. So a lot of times when you go to these folks that seeing in your blood, they either making up stuff because you don't know what's going on in your blood. So they can tell you got parasites and everything. You leave up out of there. Oh, he said he found parasites and everything. Y'all stop this shit. What they're doing is they're trying to show you, program you that where you can't do this for yourself, so therefore you need me for this. And I'm trying to say that is a lie. You don't need to be microscopic with technology when ancient technology already microscopically got you. So I've been telling y'all about the cells, so you'll see he don't need no blood test. I don't need to prick you. I don't need to stick you. I don't need to poke you or prod you to know you. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand, my people. I don't need you to prick you, to prod you, to poke you to know you. There is a way that nature has set up to know everything from the cells all the way out without ever taking blood from you or ever opening you up and doing all this stuff. You don't have to do that. We need for our doctors in nature to be more natural, not more doctory. All right. Now, y'all know who I'm talking about when I say this stuff. We need more of our people who are in nature to be more natural, not more doctory. I need you to be more in tune with nature and know more about how the leaves are blowing and what God is saying in the wind and how do you read the sun and how do you understand the ripples in the water. I need for you to learn nature, not machinery. Our people are no machines. Marsha said, I'm so happy. Marsha said, I'm with nature. Yes. Can you guide me? Yes, that's what I'm here to do. I'm so happy I found you, HerbMan, on here. Thank you very much, C. William. Thank you, my son. Yes, if you guys are interested in the owner's manual, please DM me and we will get you the information that you need. But now we're going into the future. Our people don't need to be stick, poke, prod to know them. We're going into the future, guys. Listen to me. I am here because we're changing the future. It's a reason why I'm alive. It's a reason why I'm here today. I could have been dead and gone 5 years from now, and I wouldn't have been able to be in this moment. The reason why I am here and I'm on TikTok and social media, and I'm one of the fastest growing herbalists on the planet. And the reason why is because I'm telling y'all the truth, but it ain't got nothing to do with their books. It ain't got nothing to do with what you're used to. Even the church folks scared because he done went back there to the old voodoo and hoodoo. And now hell, I ain't going toward voodoo or hoodoo. But what I am going toward is nature. I'm going toward God. I don't give a damn what you call it. I'm going toward that which I know is real. And that's going back to nature. You've always had brothers and sisters like me, but now they start to fade us out. They start to call it mumbo jumbo. They started to say it's not effective. People starting to intertwine modern medicine with ancient medicine. So that's fine. I ain't mad at that. But where are the gurus that really know the ancient science of knowing nature? We got young folk coming on the app, but they don't got no old information. You coming on the app, but you ain't got old information. You got new information, that's fine. But new information to an old mind, we ain't gonna know. You can't put old wine in a new bottle. And you can't put new wine in an old bottle. So you got to be able to keep the people evolving right along with your evolution in order for them to receive change. So when we get programmed, we get stuck, we get docile, we get stagnated, we get routine, we get robotic when we get programmed. So one thing about a robot and a routine, it don't like change. You so used to going somewhere on Sunday, this Sunday, that you don't know what to do with yourself if you don't go to church. But the question is church really helping you, healing you? Or is church really hurting you? Don't go to church because it's something to do. Go because you're getting something from it. Okay? And we need to be able to get this stuff from church. Okay? We need to be able to get this. So we got all of these things and we know exactly how to give them to you in your owner's manual. Okay? So we want you to know that you got this in you, but we also want you to know that we know how to deal with it if you don't got it. And what we're doing is providing your environment back with the things that it needs. I gave you guys a really, really good lecture today. I hope you guys screenshot that cell. I will keep on teaching this, so don't worry about it. We'll teach tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow until you guys get it. We'll move on to the next lesson. But I'm just trying to get you guys to understand how we're able to do this and why this is the most effective thing for you. My stomach is always bloated. It's because you got what you call that. First of all, you too acidic, right? First of all, we know that you're too acidic. So then guess what? That too acidic is the left brain, parasympathetic, messing with the right. So you might have more pain on the right side of your stomach. Okay, you might have more pain on the right side of your stomach, Yoli. But the real problem is that you have gotten too acidic, right? And you've gotten your stomach acid out of balance. Okay, stomach acid is off balance. So what we want you to do is move up a little bit. Look at your nervous system. What is your nervous system doing? Are you calm? Are you collective? Are you having anxiety issues? Are you having super anxious moments and things of that nature? Right. So we got to coincide. If it's not the nervous system, then we move to the brain. Okay. Now we're looking at the brain. Are you sleeping properly? Are you resting properly? or you getting the right amount of air in the body, or you all this type of stuff that can lead to over acidity. Just by breathing improperly can lead to more acidity because you're keeping in more carbon dioxide. That's going to what? Throw the pH balance off. Okay, so it's a small things that can throw you off. Okay, Yoda said yes, the right side of the body, right? So that's all we got to do is calm you down. Okay, we got to calm you down, right? So the biggest things is though, if you keep getting out of the pocket emotionally, if you keep getting disturbed and imbalanced in these other areas, then you know you could it's gonna come back. So you got to fix that stomach acid. And I'm gonna say right here, talking to you, is look more deeper into self-control issues. Do you have any kind of self-control issues? Okay, we want to look more deeper into that, Yoda. What about constipation? What about constipation, man? Y'all ask me constipation all day. You ain't eating enough fiber. If you're not boo-booing, you're not eating enough fiber. Dark circles around my eyes could be your makeup. That's good information. Nervous system, yes. What causes your carbon dioxide to be a little high? Bad breathing, David. Okay. When your carbon dioxide is high, that letting you know that your posture is not good and you're not breathing properly. Who is this Marsha up here? She's not coming in. So you can take it down. Something wrong with her line. What about hair growth? We talked about hair growth. Okay. If you're dealing with hair issues, what we say you need for hair issues? For skin and hair, you need potassium sulfate. Okay, potassium sulfate. All right. So we already know that potassium sulfate is going to be a intracellular problem. So that means you got problems on the inside of your cell. For the hair growth, Candy Capricorn, you got problems on the inside of your cell. So when you get your owner's manual, we'll give you the herbs for the inside of your cell. Or if you just wanted some hair problems, then I already know what to give you based on the. You see what I'm trying to say? So that's because we have these formulas. Whether you want to do the owner's manual or you just come to me with a problem, we got the shit down pat. We got it down pat. We have a system. Name me any herbalist out there that y'all been watching that is teaching y'all about a system. They're not teaching you about a system, man. They just got all kind of, bioresonance, bioscanners. They got all kind of knickknacks and technology. Bro, I did that and been there. I've already invested in all this stuff. I left all that shit and came out here to South Africa to just do this with nature, right? Because this is better than that stuff. That stuff is about 60 to 70 to 80% accurate. This right here, way better effectiveness. All right, way better effectiveness. Do you have any recommendations for high blood pressure? Yes, we have high blood pressure blends. We have all that stuff, okay? But at the end of the day, Tracy, the blood pressure is about your life, okay? What's stressing you? What's stressing you? What's causing you to worry? That's what's causing you high blood pressure. You fix that, and you fix your blood pressure. You don't need to take nothing. You need to change some things that are stressing you in your life. Thank you, Angelica. It's my first time seeing your channel. Okay, Candy Capricorn. Well, you came to the right place. Now, everybody knows here that I'm going to whoop you. Now, I'm going to whoop you in the spirit. I got to do that now because everybody need to laugh whooping because that's what we be doing. We do stuff to ourselves and think ain't nobody going to whoop that ass. Well, you came to the right person. I'm going to take my belt on and whoop your ass because, hey, look, I ain't never scared. Okay, so we got to do that first so that you'll know that we dealing with you. We're not dealing with your mama, then we're not dealing with what white folk done to you. We're not dealing with what the government done to you. We're not dealing with what the police did. We're not dealing with what the church did and church hurt. We're not dealing with none of that. We're dealing with you. Okay? Because if we can't fix you, we can't fix none of your problems. I would DM you to see if you have any for me. Yes, you can DM me if you want the honest manual, and then we'll get you the information. I have autoimmune disease and heart disease. How can I heal myself? You need to get your honest manual, Shade 32, for a funky measly $50. We will give you everything that you need to get your life back in order. I promise you that. And you don't have to worry about anything. After you pay the $50, you got a lifetime access to me. I'll walk you through it. You can always call me and do whatever you need to do to get in contact with me, and we'll always be there for you. So it ain't like you got to continuously pay for shit. But at the same time, you got everything in the palm of your hand for the rest of your life to make sure you're balanced. That's what the owner's manual is all about. Okay, but just off of what you're telling me with autoimmune and heart disease, you're dealing with grief, baby. Shade 32, you got a lot of grief and a lot of depression. Somebody hurt you or you hurt somebody and you have not been able to let that go, Shay 32. And that's what's causing you your problems. Okay? And if you want to respond, Shay 32, so that people can understand that, understood, I just had ashwagandha last night and I feel great today while I'm dealing with my issues. Yeah, ashwagandha is very good for, that's another one of those adaptogens that help out, get us in the right mindset. Yeast, flower child one, if you got yeast, you got sugar. Aunt Weeks, I love my owners, man. Everybody talking about 14 days, 30 days, 60 days detox. What do you recommend? I recommend a 21 day. Okay. I recommend a 21 day. Okay. Thank you. Yes, I've been hurt real bad by many people. Yeah, but I'm just talking about right before your diagnosis. I know you've been hurt by many people, but right before you got diagnosed with autoimmune disease and a heart disease, there was something happened right before that. You know what I'm talking about. I don't care nothing about everybody else. Right before you start having these symptoms of autoimmune disease and heart, you were in a situation, and you know what I'm talking about, and that's the one I'm talking about. Okay? That's the one I'm talking about, Shay 32. Not all the hurt. The one right before you got the diagnosis. That's the one you ain't been able to let go. That's the one that hurt you so bad that it's causing a physiological issue. She said, yes, I was going through a divorce. Yeah. And you still hurting, Shay. You see, and you got to understand that you're suffering from that heartbreak caused heart disease. A heartbreak, a literal heartbreak of a relationship can cause actual heart disease, you guys. Okay, this woman is showing you guys this, right? And not only that, because of the grief of that loss, it started to now wear and tear on her immune system. I keep telling y'all this, the root cause, spiritual. Get with somebody that can help you holistically, and you got the best doctor you can ever get for yourself, okay? I don't have that long on here, you guys. I appreciate all 200 or so. I appreciate all 100,000 likes. We love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. We're going to continue to keep teaching you. We're going to continue to keep coming on every day between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and showing you guys exactly how to do this, man. We're going to put your health back into your hands. I love you guys. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Please go tell somebody about your homie HerbMan. And until next time, love HerbMan. If you're interested in your owner's manual, please DM me and we'll get you the information that you need. Peace. Yeah, the kids sleeping. I be putting them to sleep now.